Welcome back to Utah State women's basketball action here on Aggie Radio and AggieRadio.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jaden Johnson with the call. It's kind of been a rough start to the game for Utah State. Rough first half. Aggies trailing Utah Valley University down here in Orem, 34-18. Aggies really struggled shooting the ball in the first half, 25% field goal percentage and just 14% from behind the three-point line. And really just kind of ugly basketball through much of the first half for Utah State, trying to come out and regroup. And we've seen some really good basketball points from the Aggies, coming off a big win against an emotional big win against BYU. Played probably their best basketball of the season, followed by probably their worst half of the season that we just saw here in Orem. So we'll see if they can bounce back, get some momentum going. If you are tuning in for Utah State men's basketball, the pregame show for that is going to start immediately after this. We're just going to cut into it. So immediately following this game, we'll cut in, join Scott Gerard and Lance Beckert down in Salt Lake as Utah State's playing the University of Utah at the Vivint Smart Home Arena. So that game starts at 5:30, and so we won't miss tip-off. We're just going to cut over the pregame immediately following this. First half for Utah State, your leading scorer was Olivia West, who had 7 points, but just 2 of 9 shooting for the sophomore guard. Other than that, you've got Eliza West with 3, and then 4 different players with 2, Duffy, Jensen, Bassett, and Brewster. Brewster does have 5 rebounds, so she's coming off of 2 really high-scoring games. She scored 16 points against Oregon State. She scored 16 points against Montana State, and then she scored 20 against BYU. So the last 3 games she's had 16 plus, just two tonight on 1 of 5 shooting, but as I mentioned, 5 rebounds, so still making her time on the court count. For Utah Valley, they've got Mariah Seals has 10 points. She's also got a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists. After that, Christensen is actually the leading scorer with 11. She's got 4 rebounds and a couple of assists. So Utah Valley just spreading the ball around, doing a really nice job moving it, and the Aggies just haven't had any answers so far against the Wolverines. A kind of a struggling Utah Valley team too. So Utah State, another key storyline, they're being out-rebounded. Utah Valley, typically a very poor rebounding team. On average, they rank 329th out of 345 teams in the nation in rebounding margin. On average, they're out-rebounded by nearly 10 rebounds per game, yet they're up on Utah State 23-18 in that category, so definitely something the Aggies have to clean up there if they want any chance at this. If you're Coach Finkbeiner here at halftime, I'm sure you just told your team, if you can come out of the tunnel, you can go out on a run here to start out the second half. You can bring it right back within reason. But right now you're facing a 16-point deficit, and it's just been ugly. Things have to change. Utah Valley inbounds from midcourt to start out the second half. Christensen has it, passes it back to Seals, who's at point guard. They pass it off to Leos, who gives it back to Christensen. Christensen dumps it in. Holland blocked by Bassett under the rim. Good defensive start by the Aggies. Bassett picks up a big block, and Aggies have it. Eliza has it, top of the arc. Utah State just with their starting lineup. Same lineup they started the game with to start the second half. Almost stolen away by Utah Valley, but Duffy's able to poke it back out to Eliza. 8 on the shot clock. Aggies need to hurry. Brewster thought about the 3, instead steps to the left and shoots. Doesn't fall from the right wing. And good offensive rebound there by Shannon Duffy. They send it out, restart. Baseline jumper from 15 for Brewster won't fall, and Utah Valley grabs the rebound. Spencer there for it, hands it back to Seals to bring it over. Aggies doing a good job on everything except getting it to fall into the rim here so far in the second half. Seals goes driving in, and she's blocked by Bassett. Second block of the half for Haley Bassett. Both possessions for Utah Valley have ended at Haley Bassett's hand. So Eliza West has it, top of the arc, passes over to left for Brewster. Brewster getting pressure, passes it back up to Eliza, over to Olivia, right wing. Olivia working off a screen, goes out to the left corner. Duffy gets it on the wing, or on the Baseline, they pass it out. Corner three coming from Eliza West. Won't fall. Wolverines, well, neither team able to grab it, but goes out of bounds off of Utah State, so Wolverine ball. And Utah State starting out this half on 0 of 3 shooting, so just really more of the same in the shooting game for the Aggies. Leos has it for Utah Valley, passes it up to Seals. Seals driving in, passes it out to the right for Holland. Holland can't get the shot to fall. And foul called on Utah State, fighting for the rebound. I believe that's going to go on Haley Bassett. Yeah, we'll go against Bassett. That's her third. So a little bit of foul trouble to watch out there for. Olivia West has 3 as well, which has been a storyline in just about every game so far this year. Utah Valley inbounds from the baseline. Jump shot from 15 for Gabrielle Leos, knocks it down. And Utah Valley now doubling the Aggies, 36-18. Olivia has it. She's double teamed. And offensive foul called on Olivia as she tried to get out of the double team. Charges into Taylor Christensen. And looks like things haven't started out all that much better for Utah State. Timeout called by Coach Finkbeiner. They're going to head to the huddle. And really, if you're Utah State, this game has been an ultimate letdown so far. This is a game you feel like you're coming off of momentum. You've got a huge win under your belt against BYU. You should be able to come back in and at least make this one competitive. But right now, being doubled, 36-18. Utah State doing a good job defensively in the paint. They've got 6 blocks. The Aggies are one of the leading blocking teams in the nation. They're averaging 4.3 blocks per game, which ranks 87th in the nation. They've already got 6 here. But unfortunately, that just hasn't really resulted in much. And offensively, they've been horrendous in the paint. Only 4 points in the paint so far for Utah State. They just keep on shooting long, contested three-pointers, and I mean, they're sitting at 2 of 16 from the three-point line. Haven't been a particularly good three-point shooting team this season, and yet they keep going back to it over and over again, and it's starting to cost them. There was a point in the game against Oregon State that Utah State missed 19 consecutive three-pointers. They started out that game 1 of 20 and missed 19 straight from three-point line. I imagine that the Aggie fans would sure like to see them get something going inside. They've got some good defensive centers, and Deja Mason always comes in and makes an impact in the paint on defense. But offensively, they haven't had any answers against a team. And I've said this a few times, against a team whose tallest player is 6'1". So coming out of the timeout, it will be Utah Valley ball after the foul by Utah State. Utah Valley inbounds. Utah State going to go with a little bit of pressure in the backcourt, but the Wolverines bring it across. Seals passes it off to Christensen. Christensen back to Seals, top of the arc. Seals hands it back off to Leos. Flying across. Aggies almost poke it away, but Spencer able to bring it in the corner. Good movement. 4 on the shot clock for Seals. She's going to bring it up. Seals passes it back out. Shot goes up right before the shot clock expires from the right wing and doesn't fall. Spencer couldn't connect, and Aggies with the rebound. Olivia passes it. Free throw line for Duffusy. Knocks it down. Good shot from Shannon Duffusy. Good movement and an assist from Olivia West to find a wide open Duffusy. Duffusy now with 4. She's got 4 rebounds as well. Wolverines break the pressure. Seals has it. Utah Valley using almost the entire clock on just about every possession here. Seals passes it to Leos. Leos up to Christensen. Christensen over right. Seals on the right wing. Screen set by Holland. Seals works off of it. Shoots from above the free throw line. Doesn't fall. Bassett with the rebound. And Utah State trying to bring it a little bit closer. Duffusy top. Shoots from the top of the arc. Doesn't fall, but Brewster with the offensive board. Passes it back to Duffusy. Same spot, thought about shooting again, instead passes it back, probably wisely so. Duffusy has it, kicks out right corner for Brewster. Brewster into Bassett. Bassett fouled on the way up to the hoop. Foul on Utah Valley's Jordan Holland is going to send Haley Bassett to the line for a couple. Couple of good offensive possessions here in the last two for Utah State. Haley Bassett, the sophomore forward, going to have a couple. Hits the first. She was now 11 of 19 on the season from the free throw line. She'll have one more. 3 points so far for Bassett. Second one goes as well. So Utah State brings it a little closer, 36-21 now. 22, sorry, they took a second to update the scoreboard. So 36-22, 14-point lead for Utah Valley. If you're Utah State, all you can really do is chip away at it. You know, take it one possession at a time. Aggie's going to go with some full court pressure, almost get it away as Duffsey tried to poke it in the backcourt. Utah Valley finally nearly gets it across midcourt, but offensive foul called on Mariah Seals. Good job by Olivia West to draw the charge, and that's the kind of spark you need for Utah State. Now if they can get some offensive rhythm going, they might be able to get themselves back in this. So Utah State has it inbound from midcourt. Here's Eliza. Eliza unguarded up high. Seals steps up. She passes it out right for Olivia. Bassett almost turns it over, but Eliza there to grab it. Passes it back to Brewster, who shoots, doesn't fall. Eliza with the offensive board, fights it away. Good effort on the offensive board by Utah State, and they're going to get another opportunity. Duffsey has it on the baseline, trying to work up to the hoop. Tries to pass it back out, and it's deflected into the backcourt off of Utah State. So it's going to be a backcourt violation on the wild pass out from the paint. Turnover on Utah State there. That is their 10th. It's going to be Wolverine ball. They're going to check back in Kiana De Los Santos in for Britta Spencer. Inbound from Seals. Gets it up to De Los Santos, left wing. Passes it back up to Seals, top of the arc. Seals being guarded by Olivia. Hands it back off to Leos. Left corner, De Los Santos has it. Utah State bench wanted to travel, doesn't get it. Baseline jumper from Harvey doesn't go, and foul called on Utah Valley going for the board. Not sure, didn't see who that went against, but Utah State will take over. Going to say De Los Santos with the foul. That's her second. Inbound by Duffsey, gets it into Victoria Price, seeing her first action of the night. Aggies get the pressure, but bring it across midcourt. Free throw line jumper from Duffsey, in and out, doesn't go, but offensive board by Victoria Price is fouled. Victoria Price checks in, and less than 10 seconds later makes an enormous difference, grabbing the offensive board, and media timeout called just under 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. So Utah State showing much more hustle, much more aggression, just still having a hard time getting the shots to fall. Shooting 1 of 7 this quarter. 0 of 3 from behind the three-point line for a 2 of 17 overall this game. And, you know, when you shoot 23% in a game, it's very hard to win no matter what else you do. Utah State actually now has the edge in total rebounds, leading 27-26, as they have out-rebounded Utah Valley 9-3 this quarter. So they're really turning things around there. But again, just haven't been able to get the open shots, and when they do, can't connect on them. And sometimes it's just not your game. Leading scorer for the Aggies is Olivia West with 7 points, followed by a couple players with 4, Duffsey and Bassett with 4 apiece. Duffsey has 5 rebounds. Brewster with 7 rebounds. She's leading the way in that category. And Eliza West with 3 assists, the leader there. So Utah Valley, still leading scorers, Christensen with 11 and Seals with 10. Wolverines not shooting particularly well. I mean, 33% for Utah Valley. It's just been the fact that Utah State can't take advantage of a low scoring percentage, and they can't put it in the hoop on their own side. If you're Coach Finkbeiner, though, right now in the timeout, you're telling your squad you're only down 14. You know, you're only down 14. If you can outscore them by 6, outscore them by 8, cut this in half by the end of the quarter, or at least come close to it, you're right back in it. And with how poor Utah Valley's shooting, if you could just get yours to fall, it's anybody's game. Inbound for Utah State after the timeout. Get the baseline inbound to Price. Price over to the right wing for Olivia. Back up to Price, top of the arc, over to the left side for Brewster. Dumps it into Bassett, and foul called on Utah Valley as they got a little push off of Bassett. That's going to go against Allie Bates. That's Bates' third foul, the freshman from Australia. So a little bit of, I'm sure, familiarity there with 4 Australians on the Utah State squad. Price has it, driving in. Ball gets poked away. She thought there was contact. Refs say there was not, and that's going to be a steal by Utah Valley. Bates with the steal. And Seals brings it across midcourt. Hard screen called, and that will be a foul on Victoria Price, who plowed through the screen set by Utah Valley's Taylor Christensen. It's the 3rd team foul by Utah State. Price is first, and Utah Valley to inbound from the baseline. Seals looking for options. That's going to be a 5-second violation. Seals couldn't get it in time, and Utah Valley turns it over. Unforced error there. She had a wide open Britta Spencer, just didn't pass it to her. So Aggies take over, 4:26 to play, trailing 36-22. Price over the left side. Wing is Brewster. Brewster works up the baseline, passes off to Bassett. Beautiful assist, set her up perfectly. And Haley Bassett has her 8th point of the night. Sorry, 6th point of the night. Utah State gets the steal. Brewster there as Utah Valley tried to bring it back. And Utah Valley pokes it out of bounds. So Utah State gets the steal, and they're going to get an inbound now from their own baseline. Utah Valley going to call a timeout. Coach Kathy Nixon had enough as Utah State's on a little bit of a run. 6-0 run for the Aggies. And Utah Valley's turned it over 3 times in the last 4 minutes, haven't scored in that same time, 4 minutes. So understandable timeout there from Coach Nixon. Trying to regroup. Utah State now trailing just 12, 4 minutes to play. That's an eternity. You've got 4 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter, and then you've got the entire 4th quarter ahead of you. As I said a minute ago, if you can start to get your shots to fall, that lead is nothing. This is a very, very low-scoring game. And so just a few shots here, a few shots there could, either put Utah Valley out by an insurmountable lead or bring Utah State right back within reason. Inbound will come from Olivia West after that 30-second timeout. Olivia from the baseline looking for somebody. She barely gets it in time. Gets it to Brewster. Shoots a 3 from the right wing. That doesn't fall. Utah State now just 2 of 18 from the 3-point line. And rebound grabbed by Utah Valley. Aggies just keep going back at that 3-point shot time and time again. Utah Valley's Taylor Christensen has it, steps inside the 3-point line just above the free throw line. Her shot won't fall. Price has it coming back the other way. Olivia shoots a 3. She knocks one down. Just the 3rd 3 of the game for Utah State, but Utah State back trailing just by 11 now. I'm sorry, trailing by 9. 27-36 is the deficit. Single digits for the first time in a while. 3:18 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Seals has it, passes it up to Christensen. Christensen being guarded by Brewster. Works off a screen, passes it off to Harvey, off the screen. Harvey gets the lay-in. And Utah Valley back up by 11 now. 3:02 to play. Price passes it over to the wing. Brewster double teamed. Gets a wide open pass from Duffy into Bassett. Utah State starting to capitalize in the lane. And the double team just really not working for Utah Valley, as every time they do it, Aggies get some points in the paint. Utah Valley barely gets it in as Utah State's pressing full court. 3 players in the backcourt for the Aggies. And then they lay off, let Utah Valley cross midcourt. Utah State trailing 38-29. UVU ball, Christensen has it, hands it off to Spencer, right wing. Spencer gonna work her way up, easy lay-in, and just a defensive breakdown. They're Utah State's kind of just letting Haley Bassett do all the work in the paint, but she's not getting a ton of help, and it's costing them right now. Foul called on Utah Valley as Olivia West tried to drive towards the baseline, and Utah State's Mariah Seals got a little bit too tied in on the defense. Actually, they're going to say it was on Spencer. Sorry, Britta Spencer with her second. So Utah State, that is going to send them to the free throw line, as that puts a bonus situation up on the board with still 2 minutes to go in the quarter. So 2 shots coming up for Olivia West, who is shooting phenomenally from the line this season. In and out. I guess I jinxed it. She can't get the first. Now just 2 of 5 here tonight. She entered the night with an 81% free throw percentage and is just shooting 2 of 5 here. 1 more to come. Olivia West looking for her 11th point of the night and gets it. So Utah State trailing by 10 exactly, 40-30 with 2:14 to play. Third quarter. UVU ball, Utah State, all 5 players in the backcourt right now. Not a single player in the front court for either team. Full press. UVU breaks through, gets it into the front court, and they're going to slow it down. Aggie's giving a lot of pressure. Olivia guarding Mariah Seals. Seals gets up to the baseline. Defensive foul called on Olivia West, who tried to get the charge, but feet weren't planted. That is Olivia's 4th foul. One away from fouling out. Actually, I'm sorry, 3rd foul. Eliza has 3, and so that's what threw me off. So 3 for Eliza and Olivia, 3 for Bassett as well. Utah Valley ball, 1:45 to play here in the third quarter. Seals goes driving in, kicks it out, right corner, open 3, doesn't fall from Spencer, and great rebound by Victoria Price. Coming back the other way, Olivia pops it up, knocks it down, and it was just inside the 3-point line from the wing. So Utah State brings it back within 8, giving the full court pressure. Utah Valley breaks it, gets into the front court, had an open player, but Seals didn't see Holland streaking towards the basket. 1:13 to play. Left wing, Spencer has it, gets it back out top to Harvey, over to Seals. Seals right wing, screen set by Harvey. She's going to work off of it, pass it into Harvey. Pick and roll works to perfection, and Harvey finger rolls over Deja Mason. Utah State gets it back, 54 to play in the third quarter, trailing by 10. Olivia double teamed up near the corner, and it's stolen away. A lot of contact there, but Holland just rips it out of the arms of Olivia West. And to stop the fast break, Eliza fouls on the shot by, I believe that was Mariah Seals. Now they're going to say Jordan Holland with the shot, so she's going to head to the free throw line for a couple. That's Eliza's 4th foul, so 1 away from having to leave. And first shot missed by Jordan Holland. Holland, the sophomore forward from Los Lunas, New Mexico, has 1 more coming up. She's started all of the games except for 1, including this one. 69% free throw shooter, knocks down the second, and we're back to a 10-point game. So for Utah State, Eliza checks out. Taylor Franson comes in. Oh, Eliza stays in. Taylor Franson replaces Mason. No, replaces Duffy. Franson getting her first minutes of the night. Olivia has it, double team, gets up to the baseline, gets an open shot from 15, doesn't fall. Price comes flying in for the rebound and goes out of bounds off of Utah Valley. Good effort. Victoria Price making an enormous difference for Utah State right now. Bassett and Duffy going to come in for Utah State, as is Brewster, as Price and Franson check out. As does Mason. So 27 seconds to play here. Utah State going to get it with a fresh shot clock. Trailing by 10. They'd love to go in trailing by 8 or 7 here after this possession. Would be a huge third quarter for Utah State if they're able to do that. Eliza has it, top of the arc, goes to Brewster. Brewster up to the baseline, back out to Eliza, top of the arc, over to Olivia. 3 goes up, not quite, but rebound tapped out of bounds. Utah State furious right now, as sure looked like it went out off of Utah Valley, but they're going to say it was off the fingertips of Haley Bassett. Utah Valley will get the inbound, 4.7 to go, up by 10. The inbound, they're probably not even going to get a shot off here as Utah State gives some pressure. They get just beyond half court. A shot goes up, but nowhere near going in from Britta Spencer. So team's going to head into the third quarter huddle with Utah State trailing 43-32. Utah State outscored Utah Valley 14-9 there in the third quarter. Brought it a lot closer, but still a tough test ahead for the Aggies. And that's going to take a lot. However, if they play like they did there in the third quarter, they may have a chance because it was much, much better basketball than we saw in the first two. We're going to head to a third quarter break and come back with the rest of the game here. Again, if you're tuning in for Utah State men's basketball, who is playing Utah tonight, the pregame show will cut in just immediately after this one. So we will have the full game there from tip-off to finish, but we're going to interrupt the pregame show just a little bit. We'll cut there immediately after this women's basketball game finishes up. And we'll come back with the fourth quarter here in just a moment. All right, welcome back to Utah Valley University here in Orem. Aggies playing the Wolverines, and it's trying to turn it into a good one. It's 43-32 Utah Valley after 3, entering the fourth quarter, but Utah State playing much better basketball in the third quarter than they did in the first half, trying for a late surge here. Utah Valley ball to start out the fourth quarter. Seals has it and passes it up top to Christensen. Christensen working against Duffsey, almost poked away. And offensive foul called on Utah Valley, fighting for the loose ball. Utah State earns it off the turnover. It's going to go against Christensen. They say Taylor Christensen picks up her first. She's been the star of the night with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists for the Wolverines. So Utah State going to try and capitalize off of that. Eliza has it, gets it over to Duffsey, shoots from the left wing three, doesn't fall. Utah State just keeps trying that three-pointer, now 3 of 21 tonight from three-point land. And Duffsey 0 of 3. Utah Valley with the rebound. They're going to have a chance of their own. Right elbow jumper from Taylor Christensen, just broke free and got wide open, knocks it down to extend that lead now 45-32. Olivia West is double teamed and travels. A lot of contact there. And turnover on Utah State. Aggies going to give another full court pressure, not make it easy for Utah Valley to inbound from their own backcourt. All 5 players from each team in the backcourt. They break through though, and flying towards the basket is Taylor Christensen for the easy lay-in. Utah Valley read right through that Utah State full court press, and really just fell apart for the Aggies. Utah Valley extends that lead now to 15. Brewster gets it to Duffsey. Duffsey tries to pass it over to Bassett, and just a sloppy pass. Good steal by Utah Valley, and another Aggie turnover, their 14th of the night. And you play like that, it's going to be really, really hard for Utah State to get back in this thing unless they can start knocking down some shots and taking care of the ball. Foul called on Utah State the other way. Contact off the ball by Shannon Duffsey. So Duffsey, that's just her first. Gear and Mason going to check in for Duffsey and Bassett now. Deja Mason has made the most of her time out there. She's only played 8 minutes, has 3 rebounds and a couple of points. UVU ball. Seals has it double teamed, working against Gear. She breaks through the double team, gets up to the baseline, easy lay-in. And Utah Valley just continues to control the paint. Utah State being outscored in the paint 26-8. Eliza has it, passes over to Olivia, right wing. Back up to Eliza. Eliza top of the arc, back over to Olivia, right wing, shoots. Another missed three-pointer by Utah State. 3 of 22 tonight for the Aggies. Seals working against Olivia. 7:45 to play, 49-32 lead for the Wolverines. Gabrielle Leos passes it back to Seals. Seals, the senior guard, works off a screen from Harvey and pops up a three, long three, to put Utah Valley up by 20. Aggies being outscored 9-0 this quarter. 9-0 run for Utah Valley. Brewster has it on the baseline, pass it back to Mason, who sends it back out top to Eliza West. They get back to Mason. Mason working towards the hoop. Is a lot of contact there, fouled by Harvey, so Mason going to get a couple. Mason looking for her first points of the night. Only 9 minutes for a player who's started 5 games for the Aggies this season. Mason's first is good. They had a trip to the line earlier, went 0 of 2 on that. Taylor Franson checks in place of Brewster. So Brewster heading to the bench, just 2 points on 1 of 9 shooting tonight. Second shot goes as well for Deja Mason. Aggies trailing 18, 52-34, 7:06 to play. UVU ball inbounded from the baseline. Aggies going to give a couple players in the backcourt for pressure. Seals breaks through, gets across midcourt, passes over left to Leos, and they're going to slow it down. Seals has it, 17 on the shot clock. Seals works off the screen from Spencer, passes it back to Spencer off the screen, shoots from 3, doesn't fall. Franson can't grab the rebound, but Olivia West does. And Olivia brings it back for Utah State. Olivia over to Gear, passes to Franson on the baseline. Franson double teamed, breaks through the double team, gets a wide open Olivia top of the arc, doesn't knock it down. Utah State fighting for the board. Good job by Jessie Gear to hop in there, force a jump ball against Britta Spencer. It's going to go in Utah State's favor. Arrow pointing the Aggies' way. Utah State still playing with some hustle, just struggling to hit anything. Inbound from the baseline, passes into Dalton. Dalton called with the charge. As a good draw by Jordan Holland on the block. So that's the first foul for Laura Dalton. It's going to be the second of this quarter for Utah State. UVU ball to get it across midcourt. Leos working up to the right side. Walks in and walks out. Passes back out to Seals, who stops things. Seals back to Leos. Gear went for the steal. Leos got it. But instead of driving, kicks it back out. Christensen right wing. Left wing to Spencer. Left corner to Harvey. Back to Spencer for 3. Doesn't go. Franson with the rebound. Eliza bringing it back. Gets it over to Olivia. Back up to Eliza, top of the arc. Gear right wing. Back up to Eliza. Olivia left wing, Eliza. Gets it over Gear, thinking about a 3 from the right wing. Instead passes it to Franson. Franson tries to pass into Dalton, but it's stolen away by Taylor Christensen, who tipped it back for Utah Valley. 5:25 to play, Utah State trailing by 18, 52-34. Gear comes flying in for the steal and intercepts a pass from Mariah Seals, and then takes it coast to coast, drives right at the hoop. Hustle play from Jessie Gear, converts for a couple of points. Utah State now trailing 52-36. Seals chucks a full court bomb as she was pressured in the backcourt and gets a wide open Jordan Holland for a couple. Foul called coming back the other way on Utah Valley. Off the ball. Now called on Utah State. It's going to go against Laura Dalton. Contact with the defender. And media timeout called. 4:50 to play, and it's a 54-36 lead for Utah Valley. It's 4:30, meaning this is when our pregame coverage for the men's basketball game would typically kick off. We're going to cut into that just a little bit late as we've got 4:50 to play here in Orem, Utah State women's hoops against Utah Valley. So immediately following this, we'll cut over to our pregame coverage with Scott Gerard and Lance Beckert down at the Vivint Smart Home Arena as Utah State men's basketball gets prepared to take on the Utah Utes. So a big in-state game coming for the Aggies there. Should be a fun one as well. So we got a basketball doubleheader. And like I said, we'll cut over to that immediately following this. Utah State. The Aggie Radio is your home for Utah State sports this season. We've carried every football game of the year, and we're going to have the the Arizona Bowl as that comes up as Utah State takes on New Mexico State. So that will be coming up here on Aggie Radio in a few weeks. We're going to have every Utah State men's game right here on 92.3 KBLU and every Utah State women's game on KBLU as well as AggieRadio.com. So when there are conflicting games, you can still catch them both, whether online or over the air here in Logan. Thanks for tuning in to Utah State women's basketball. Aggie's really a tough one here so far tonight. Struggling against Utah Valley, trailing 54-36. Utah State shooting just 29% on 12 of 42, and really the killer, 3 of 23 from three-point land. So they've shot a lot from outside the arc. Only 10 points in the paint for the Aggies, and struggling to hold on to the ball as well. 17 turnovers. So Wolverines have it. They inbound it. Utah State lays off on the pressure this time. Lindsey Jensen checks in for the Aggies. Wolverines bring it across. Here Seals passes it over to Bates. Bates over to the right wing for Leos. Leos back up to Seals, top of the arc. Seals left corner for Jordan Holland, driving up the baseline. Holland dumps it back out, top of the arc, 4 on the shot clock. Seals has it, steps in, shoots from just inside the three-point line and knocks it down. And that extends the Utah Valley lead to 20. Seals now with 17 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Monster night for the star guard for Utah Valley. Aggies have it poked away off the baseline, so they will get the ball back. Inbound goes to Dalton, corner 3, hop put up from Olivia West. She knocks it down, and Utah State now trails 56-39, 3:58 to play. Olivia West has 16 points tonight. She's the leading scorer on the season for Utah State, averaging 15.8, so she's just barely hit that mark tonight, coming off a 19-point outing against BYU. Bates has it. She hands it back to Leos, and screen set. Foul on the screen that's going to go against Allie Bates. Just her first. And Utah State will take it back off of that. I'm sorry, that's her 4th. So 1 more to go before Bates is fouled out. And that's the 3rd team foul for Utah Valley. Aggies have it. Jensen gets towards the baseline and passes it back out up top to Olivia West. Olivia back to Jensen in the corner, thought about shooting, instead steps back out. Tosses it to the left wing for Gear. Gear out to the right wing for Jensen. Jensen driving, works towards the hoop. Nice move into the hoop by Lindsey Jensen, earning her 4th point of the night. 56-41 UVU lead. Wolverines to inbound. Utah State going to full court pressure. They find an open Bates though. Bates passes it back to Christensen. Christensen moves towards midcourt, and foul called on the Aggies. So it's going to be a midcourt inbound for Utah Valley. That's the 4th team foul for Utah State this quarter. 1 away from the bonus. Utah Valley inbounds. Christensen passes it back to Seals. Seals beats West past midcourt. Starts to drive in, then slows it down. Hands it back to Christensen. Christensen out to the right wing for Bates. Bates hands it off to Leos. Leos up to the top of the arc for Christensen. Steps in, shoots from 15, in and out. Offensive rebound, though, grabbed by the Wolverines. Jordan Holland with the big board passes it back out to Seals to stop things and slow it down. 2:45 to play. That is the 12th offensive rebound. I'm sorry, the 11th offensive rebound for Utah Valley. A lot of second chance points here. Utah Valley has it. Seals, 9 on the shot clock, gets up to the free throw line, left elbow, shoots air ball. Kept in bounds by Holland, but she tosses it back to Deja Mason. So before the shot clock expires, Utah State takes it back. Olivia West passes over to left wing for Gear, passes it back to West. Back to Gear, left wing 3 goes up, hits the back of the rim, doesn't go. Long rebound from Utah Valley's Christensen. That is Christensen's 6th of the night. And Utah Valley going to take their time bringing it back across. 15-point lead for the Wolverines with a couple minutes to play. Errant pass, but lucky there for the Wolverines that Bates was there. And then Utah Valley turns it over as they send it out of bounds. And Utah State forces another turnover. That's the 12th that Utah State has forced tonight. Unfortunately for the Aggies, 17 of their own. Price has it, brings it across midcourt, goes over to Jensen in the right wing. Jensen double teamed, tries to pass it to Mason, and it's poked away, steal by Taylor Christensen. And Utah Valley going to take back over. 1:41 to play. Really a rough night for Utah State. You come off such a big emotional win against BYU. You know, your first win over the Cougars in nearly 40 years. You do that in Provo, just a few miles away from here. You come back down to Utah Valley, and on the 6th game of a 6-game road trip, lay an egg here in Orem against the team you feel like you should beat. Utah Valley has it. Christensen drives in, 3 left on the shot clock and is fouled on the way in. So she's going to go to the free throw line for a couple with 1:18 to play here in a 15-point lead. That foul goes on Emmy Harris, the freshman, picking up her first. Christensen will have a couple. She's leading the way for UVU now with 18 points as she hits the first. She's got 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, and that's exactly why she was second team all-WAC last season. Second shot good as well to extend that. Now 19 points for Christensen, and the lead 58-41, Utah Valley, 1:17 to play. Price at point guard right now for Utah State. She passes over to Jensen. Jensen back up to Price, top of the arc. Price left wing for Harris, open 3. Shoots, doesn't go, but Deja Mason with the offensive board, spins around, tries to put it back up, blocked, but Price there for the rebound. Price tries to pass it into Franson, and just a errant pass there, goes right to Christensen. Utah Valley going to bring it across, wait till the end of the shot clock, and we got 48 seconds to play. This will just about do it from here in Orem. Seals drives in, kicks it out to the right, 3 goes up from the corner, and that's just puts the mark on it as Christensen knocks down her 22nd point of the night. She is 8 of 14 from the field. Phenomenal night for the senior from Mount Pleasant, Utah. Aggies have it, 28 seconds to play. Jensen shoots a 3 from the right wing, hits back of the rim, doesn't go, but offensive board by Harris, who puts it right back up. I'm sorry, by Mason, who puts it right back up for her fourth point of the night. And timeout called by Utah Valley, even though they lead by 18 points. Not entirely sure I understand that one. So Utah State having a rough night. Olivia West, though, had a good night herself. 16 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. She is the only Aggie in double figures. Bassett had 8. On the rebounding game, Brewster was 7, Mason was 6. Those 6 for Deja Mason coming in just 13 minutes of play. For Utah Valley, Christensen with 22 points, Seals with 17. So about to get the ball back in bounds. Utah Valley inbounds at 20 seconds to play. Seals is double teamed up high. She passes it over to Holland. Holland goes back out to Spencer. Spencer back over to Seals. Utah Valley just going to try and let this run out. There's no shot clock on right now. Seals dribbling around. 5 seconds to go. That will do it. Utah Valley wins this one 61-43 here in Orem. big win for Utah Valley to move up to 4-6 on the season, while Utah State, no such luck, falling to 2-7. Really rough start for Utah State to this season. A team that started 6-1 last year and now starting 2-7. Total flip. Everything that Utah State did well in the game against BYU last week, almost the exact opposite here tonight. Everything they did well there, they did poorly tonight, especially shooting the ball. 15 of 49 from the field, 4 of 27 from three-point line. They turned the ball over 19 times. They actually won the rebounding battle after starting out, really, really tough in that category. But outscored in the paint, 28-14. And that is how this one's going to go. Utah State losing 43-61. Aggie's going to be back at it. I mentioned that this is the sixth game of a six-game home road stand, so finally coming home for the first time in nearly a month. They'll be back next Saturday against Denver. That game is at 2 o'clock p.m. We'll have it here on Aggie Radio and AggieRadio.com, following which they're going to take on Utah the following Monday, so that's the 18th at 7 o'clock p.m. So you can always tune in here for you, Utah State women's basketball. We're going to cut over to Utah State men's hoops now. They're playing University of Utah down, I guess, just up the road from here in Orem at the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City. Tip-off coming in just about 45 minutes for that one. So enjoy Utah State men's hoops. Tough one here for Utah State as they fall 61-43 in Orem. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jaden Johnson with the call. We'll be back at it next Saturday against Denver at 2 o'clock p.m. You're listening to Aggie Radio 92.3 KBLU in Logan and AggieRadio.com. As always, go Aggies.